Chapter 34. Very soon, all the grilled fish and grilled meat were served. Yihua crossed his arms over his chest and looked at the two women in front of him. "Yu Tong, as your brother-in-law, I have the obligation to teach you how to be a woman," Yihua said gravely with a serious look on his face. "Since she is my sister-in-law, I will be magnanimous and teach her a lesson." Qingye rolled her eyes. "This fellow is doing it again. Brother-in-law, in that case, can you teach me?" Qing Yutong asked curiously. She was completely unaware that the content of what she was going to teach would cause people to collapse. Yihua felt that it was much easier to teach his sister-in-law. First of all, you have to obey a man's orders. Things like peeling skewers is something that you have to do. On this point, you have to learn from your sister. Qingye indeed peeled a skewer of barbecued meat and placed it into Yihua's bowl, to prevent him from finding a reason to flip out again. Qing Yutong paused for a moment, then said earnestly, "Brother-in-law, can we talk properly? Come, try it and you'll know. Your sister was very resistant at first, but now she's used to it." Qing Yutong pulled onto Qingye heavily. "Big sister, there is a problem with brother-in-law's way of thinking. He wants to groom me into becoming the second wife." Originally, Qingye thought that Yihua was joking, and after hearing what her little sister said, killing intent shot out from Qingye's beautiful eyes. "I am teaching her," Yihua said in displeasure. "What kind of expression is that, to actually dare to doubt me? But why should I explain? Don't put that weird theory of yours on my little sister's head. Eat your food," Qingye said coquettishly. "Forget about harming me, you even want to harm my own little sister." That's right. Brother-in-law is so bad he has the same thoughts as Long Outyin. Sister, you have to be careful. Yihua felt that he had been stabbed with a knife. I educated her out of goodwill, and not only did she not appreciate my kindness, she even tried to frame me, and even compared me with that Long Outyin. Yihua felt that his lungs were about to explode from anger. Looking at her brother-in-law's handsome face that was flushed red from anger, Qing Yutong peeled off a skewer of pork ribs, then said fawningly, "Brother-in-law, don't be angry. Sister-in-law, I was just joking just now." Seeing that his sister-in-law's attitude of admitting her mistake wasn't bad, Yihua didn't pursue the matter further. "You have to learn properly." Yes, I will learn," Qing Yutong said helplessly. Brother-in-law is truly a weirdo. At this moment, another report was heard on the television. According to this station's news, there was a tsunami in Southeast Asia this afternoon. 1 person has died, 56 people are missing, and more than 300 people are injured. The tsunami this time was extremely sudden, and the local weather bureau said that they had no idea. The three of them paused for a moment, not paying too much attention. However, everyone didn't know that this was the result of Lai Gu's unintentional roar. Yihua slowly put down his chopsticks, straightened the chopsticks, then took out a napkin and wiped his mouth. His movements were smooth and skillful, causing the two sisters to be extremely puzzled. To be able to eat so elegantly even when eating barbecue, and to even straighten the chopsticks after finishing eating, does he have obsessive-compulsive disorder? Let's leave after eating, Yihua said lightly. The two sisters were already full, and the three of them sat on the car and returned back to Leisure Bar. Meanwhile, the young man who was at the barbecue stall had not left yet. He took out his phone and tried to contact someone, but he was unable to get through. When he returned to Leisure Bar, it was already 11 o'clock. However, there wasn't a single soul in Leisure Bar. Yihua's face immediately collapsed. Qingye and Qing Yutong were feeling great, and they walked up the stairs while holding hands. Qingye even shouted out complacently, "Yihua, quickly come up the stairs, brother-in-law, hurry up," Qing Yutong blurted out, and immediately caused Qingye's head to explode. To even dare to take liberties with brother-in-law. The security guards and waiters of the bar were all stupefied. The boss had really flown up to the sky. He actually had two beauties in his arms, and the key point was that they were twins. Too valiant. Too powerful. Just that, the price to pay is a bit big. A business like Leisure Bar is probably the prelude to bankruptcy. Yihua wasn't really angry, he just felt that Qinya was disobeying him like this can't do. I have to make her listen to me, and also that sister-in-law, I have to quickly chase her away. After mixing a small glass of wine and drinking it, Yihua slowly walked up the stairs. Just that, the bedroom was actually occupied by two women. How could Yihua endure it? This sister-in-law of his is too outrageous. Brother-in-law, I don't have a place to sleep. Seeing that Yihua was preparing to deliver the goods, Qin Yutong straightforwardly hugged onto her big sister and begged for mercy. Go and sleep in the office. Yihua said gravely. Qin Yutong said pitifully, don't want. Yihua looked towards Qinya, seemingly saying that if you don't persuade me, don't blame me for being ruthless. Qinya pouted her mouth and did not say anything. In any case, I will be happy if Yihua is angry, and I reckon that he will be happy if I am angry as well. I will go and take a bath. If you are still on my bed when I come out, then you can just wait for your big sister to send you a condom. Yihua said coldly. If you force me into a corner, I will get rid of you in front of your big sister. In front of the two beauties, Yihua showed off his figure a bit, then walked into the bathroom. TSK, who are you trying to scare? Qin Yutong said in disdain, just that, in her heart, she was a bit afraid. Qinya leaned against the headboard of the bed and looked at the financial news, then said faintly, if you don't leave, your brother-in-law will really dare to. I don't believe it. At worst, big sister, you can go and help me buy a condom. Qin Yutong's mouth was very firm, and she had a fearless look on her face. Qinya turned her head and said, we don't wear condoms. Qin Yutong felt that she was going to go crazy. Aw, you two perverts, I am leaving. Qin Yutong, who was flustered and exasperated, directly slammed the door and ran to the office to sleep. These two people are simply rotten to the core. 5 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom while wiping his hair, revealing his sexy muscles. His muscles were not big, but it gave people a feeling that he was very explosive. Exhibitionist Qinya took a glance and said in disdain. When is your little sister going to leave? Qinya laughed in ridicule. Didn't you say that you are going to get an extra bed? What, are you regretting it now? Yihua did not speak and crawled into the blanket, and Qinya pushed the blanket outwards, seeming to dislike Yihua a lot. There is a bed in the office, you can also go over there and sleep. Seeing Qinya's action, Yihua was very unhappy. I didn't even dislike you, and yet you still dislike me. I'm not going. Qinya snorted. Yihua could be seen immediately flipping over and pressing Qinya under his body, and the latter was scared to the point that her soul was about to leave her body. Do you still want to experience the happiness of that night? Yihua stared at that pair of beautiful eyes and asked carefully. Upon thinking back to that night, Qinya's gaze started drifting. What are you doing? Aren't you going to let me sleep? You have been staying on my bed all along, don't you want to experience it again? Go to hell, why are your thoughts so dirty? Right at this moment, the bedroom door was opened, and Qin Yutong looked at the two people on the bed with a face full of surprise. I just left, and they are already unable to endure their hunger and thirst. That. I am here to look for a blanket. Qin Yutong said while stammering, then immediately closed the door. Her little heart was thumping madly, so passionate. Yihua said gravely, she did it on purpose. Who asked you to call her over? Don't press on me, don't you know that you are very heavy? Qinya said angrily. Chapter 35. Who would be willing to hug you, narcissist? Qinya hugged onto the quilt tightly and turned her back towards Yihua. Remember to switch off your phone. It is already switched off. Remember to wake up early tomorrow to buy breakfast. Got it. don't pant while sleeping. Yi Hua. Do you want to fight with me? Don't think that I am afraid of you. Switch off the light, sleep. Yi Hua said calmly. He had already laid down, closed his eyes and ignored Qinya, angering Qinya to the point that she wanted to strangle Yi Hua to death. After switching off the bedside lamp, Qinya let out a sigh of relief and caressed her stomach with both of her hands. My baby, in order to give birth to you, Mom really suffered a lot. Your dad doesn't even care about your mom at all, he doesn't even let me hug him once, and Mom is already used to hugging things to sleep at night, bastard. In Yangshan City, which was at the border of Longan City, a BMW M6 sped on the suburban road. The driver was a young and beautiful woman. Her looks were excellent, her figure was also curvaceous, she was a rare beauty. Sitting beside her was Long Outyin, who used the burrow talisman. It must be said that this was a perfect encounter. Long Outyin has to thank those hoodlums, if not, he wouldn't have had such a romantic encounter. Furthermore, this Gu Tiantian's background is not small too. Yangshan City's famous Gu family, although not as perverted as Qing family, it is still the #1 enterprise in the south. To be a member of my, Long Outyin's, harem, she has reached the standard. Tian, you should believe me now, right? Long Outyin said complacently. Just a while ago, I went to Gu Tiantian's house and conveniently showed off. My medical skills shocked them to the point that they were dumbstruck, and that quack was chased out of Gu family. Seems like I am still very strong, what happened to Qing family today was just an accident. And the gaze that Gu Tiantian's parents looked at me with was as if they were looking at their future son-in-law. That feels great, a man with ability will be discovered no matter where he goes. I, Long Outyin, can only blame myself for being too outstanding. Don't look at Gu Tiantian's aloof appearance, in actuality, her heart had already secretly agreed long ago. Right now, she was just maintaining a woman's modesty. In just a few days, I will be able to take her down and make her a member of my harem. Tian, I'm fine, right? Long Outyin chuckled. He looked like a gentleman, but in truth, he was full of evil tricks. Gu Tian scoffed, don't think that I'll let bygones be bygones just because you cured my dad. I appeared by accident. Do you want me to take a look for you? Shameless, Gu Tian cursed in embarrassment. Look, and you still say you're not moved. Your little face is already red. Ah, women. Qinya, you will definitely regret it. You're not the only woman in this world, there's a whole forest waiting for me, Long Outyin. Tian, Uncle just said that we should have a good conversation. You see, I don't have anywhere to go. Your house is so big, can you give me a room? Gu Tian said coquettishly, Long Outyin. Can you not be so shameless? You made my dad think that we have a relationship. There is indeed a relationship. I've already seen you. If we were in ancient times, I would marry no one but you, ah. I'm going to kill you, ha ha ha. Long Outyin was feeling great in his heart. This is the tempo. Who knows, I might be able to settle it tonight. TSK, outstanding men are always like this. Chasing a girl is just a matter of hooking my finger. However, just as Long Outyin was feeling complacent, his entire body suddenly leaned forward. The sound of tires rubbing against the ground rang out beside his ears. Luckily I had fastened my seatbelt, if not my entire body would have flown out. Rubbing his forehead, Long Outyin asked, Tian, why did you brake so anxiously? I know that you hate me, but isn't this a little too exaggerated? Panic appeared in Gu Tiantian's eyes. Pointing at the front of the car, she was speechless. Long Outyin looked towards the front of the car and saw a person appearing at the front of the car. The person's entire body was wrapped tightly with a black cloth, and there was a dagger at the person's waist. Tian, did your enemy come looking for you? Long Outyin asked curiously. he didn't put the person in his heart at all. Gu Tiantian shook her head. What enemy do I have? I didn't cause any trouble. That person might be your family's enemy, but that doesn't matter. Who asked me to be a good person? Not only did I treat your father's illness, I even helped your family to chase away your enemy. Tian, how are you going to thank me? How about you repay me with your body? Long Outyin giggled, appearing to be very relaxed. Seeing Long Outyan's indifferent expression, Gu Tian also relaxed and wasn't that scared anymore. Can you be a bit more serious? Gu Tian pouted. This man is indeed very mystical, but his words are too flowery. I feel that he isn't reliable. Long Outyin fiddled with his hair. The me right now is definitely serious. Watch how I help you chase away your enemy. You be a bit more careful. Gu Tian warned. With the concern of a beauty, no matter how difficult the matter is, Long Outyin will still not turn back, just to make you smile. Annoying, what time is it already, and you are still saying that? Gu Tian was also speechless, but her heart was still warm. Death Assassin stared at the man in the car. I finally found him. Master said that this man is a bit powerful, but why didn't I notice it? Right now, he is still flirting with a woman in the car. Bang! Death Assassin punched onto the hood of the car and hooked his finger at Long Outyin. The loud sound gave Gu Tian a fright. Looking at the dented hood of the car, Gu Tiantian's entire body trembled as she said while shivering, "This person is here to look for you, quickly get out of the car." Ah! Long Outyin was immediately confused. To think that the person is here to look for me. The power of this punch is not bad, but it is still trash. Just like that quack, the person is here to act cool for me, and then at night, I will be able to hug the beauty. This feels great. A godsend opportunity. Tian, don't be afraid, properly stay in the car, I am here for everything. Long Outyin kept his smile and said solemnly. The degree of firmness in his tone made Gu Tian believe him, and right now, she is completely relying on Long Outyin. Opening the car door, Long Outyin took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. Although I learned this move from someone else, but it feels very good, it feels very cool. Gu Tian, who is inside the car, definitely has stars in her eyes. She must be worshipping me. Who are you? Long Outyin spat out a mouthful of smoke and asked arrogantly. Death Assassin only has thoughts, how can he speak? Death Assassin just stood there and did not speak. Fuck, you are still a mute, forget it. Bullying you is also not a difficult thing. It is better not to let the ladies see such a bloody scene. Let's stand slightly further away. Long Outyin flicked away the cigarette, but that was in his hand. This action is really handsome. Death Assassin silently followed behind Long Outyin, appearing to be a bit adorable. Long Outyin also had the same feeling. This fellow can't be a fool, right? Chapter 36. Hey, you're a killer, right? Tell me, you don't use sneak attacks, but stand in the middle of the road openly. Are you stupid? Death Assassin was a bit impatient. This was the first time he met an enemy that had so many mouths. From the moment he met Death Assassin until now, his mouth had never stopped. Who sent you? Forget it, you won't tell me now anyway. When I beat you until you kneel down, you will naturally tell me. Today I will let you experience the power of my Long Outyin God Dragon technique. There is no harm in telling you, when I hit this punch, even I myself am afraid. Believe it or not, the reinforced concrete will break into slag. Long Outyin could be seen shouting loudly. His aura was extremely imposing. He stood in a horse stance, clenched his fists tightly. The muscles on his arms gradually became bigger. The mound under his feet even started to crack a little. Gu Tian, who was sitting in the car, was elated. Judging from Long Outyan's aura, he would definitely be able to defeat the man in black. Death Assassin looked at the trash in front of him and slightly went into a daze. This aura is a bit interesting. Compared to ordinary people, this person is indeed a lot stronger. However, it is only a lot stronger. In my eyes, this person is still a trash. The first form of the Divine Dragon Technique. Divine Dragon Fist. Long Ao Yin's right fist exuded a faint golden glow, and he punched forward at lightning speed. A sandstorm was stirred up within a 1-meter radius, and Gu Tian was dumbfounded. Long Ao Yin sneered in his heart. This adorable killer is so scared that he doesn't even know how to hide. That's even better. Watch me smash your body with one punch. Death Assassin was very disappointed and did not want to move anymore. If he were to move even a little bit, he would be humiliating himself. Long Ao Yin took a step forward with his right foot, and a few cracks appeared on the ground. Then, he punched out with an imposing manner. Long Ao Yin's fist passed through the Death Assassin's body and pierced through the Death Assassin's heart. Long Ao Yin said in disdain, "You are only a so-so, and here I thought you were very powerful." GGG, this strange laughter made Long Ao Yin swallow his saliva unconsciously. Feeling his arm, it seemed that he had punched the air, but that's not right, I clearly punched through his abdomen. Fall. Why aren't you falling? Shouldn't you be falling? I'm begging you, can't you do it quickly? There's a girl watching. The Death Assassin did not have a physical body, it only had a body of bones, and Long Ao Yin's fist only went through the Death Assassin's clothes, it did not even touch the Death Assassin's bones. Death Assassin could be seen raising his hand, startling Long Ao Yin. Is he going to surrender? It's too late now. Besides, you have to raise your hands when you surrender. Paw. Long Ao Yin felt his face contorting. His body floated in the air, and his consciousness was a little blurry. Death Assassin's slap sent Long Ao Yin flying, and he only stopped after rolling a few times on the grassland. Long Ao Yin crawled up with difficulty, and looked at Death Assassin who was approaching him step by step, his gaze revealed fear. Who exactly was this person? Although the Divine Dragon Fist had only been trained to the first layer, it was still able to shatter rocks and break bones. Yet, nothing happened to him. Instead, he was sent flying by a slap. Could it be that this person was an S-rank expert? But, why does he have to come and kill a small character like me? I haven't even grown up yet, that's right. He was afraid that he would grow stronger, so he struck first to gain the upper hand. This person was so vicious. Puff! Long Ao Yin spat out a mouthful of blood and felt his blood boiling. He was even more afraid of this man in black. In front of him, he was just like a child. Swish! Long Ao Yin still didn't know what was going on, and a sharp pain came from his arm. Blood violently gushed out, and when he lowered his head to take a look, the wound was so deep that his bones could be seen. Fear spread in Long Ao Yin's heart. I am completely not a match for him, I can't even catch his movements, let alone counterattack. Gu Tian sat in the car and watched nervously. She could only see two black figures together, and she didn't know what was going on. Long Ao Yin's goal was achieved, he did not let Gu Tian see the scene of blood splattering everywhere, and was also able to show off his strength. Just that, everything had changed, just like what happened at Qing family today. It was happening once again. There's no other way. I still have an Earth Escape talisman, if I don't use it now, I will really be waiting for death. Earth Escape talisman. Death Assassin slashed out with his blade, just that, he missed. Looking at where he was, where did he go? Could it be that he has the ability to teleport? I was really a bit careless, I originally wanted to torture him to death, but from the looks of it now, it would be better for me to report this to my superiors. Gu Tian rubbed her eyes, there were two black figures just now, why did they suddenly disappear? Mustering up her courage, she got off the car and shouted lightly, Long Ao Yin. Long Ao Yin. Arriving at the place where the two disappeared from just now, Gu Tian looked around and was filled with doubt. she could only leave in disappointment. This Long Outyin ran away. Luckily this assassin did not come to look for me, he is really not a man. Long Outyin shouted out that he was wronged, I only temporarily retreated due to injuries. At a remote mountain village, Long Outyin opened his eyes, and a high-spirited voice rang out beside his ears. Exerting himself to open his eyes to take a look, he immediately had the urge to faint. Why isn't it the bathroom, why is it the pigsty? Chapter 37. After placing Qingye in the bathroom, Yihua said coldly, brush your teeth, wash your face, and by breakfast. The latter's pair of beautiful eyes were about to spit out fire. Yihua, I will fight you to the death. 10 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom with Qingye, who had a miserable look on her face. Add more sugar to the porridge. Qingye snorted and walked towards the office. It seems like she wants to drag Yihua down with her. As expected, Qing Yutong's scream and helpless complaints could be heard from inside the office. Big sister, I am still young, and you actually want me to accompany you to buy breakfast? Do you want to be surrounded by my fans? Qing Yutong walked out of the bathroom while yawning. Her pair of eyes had not even opened yet, looking very cute. If you don't want to go, then stay in a hotel. Are you really my big sister or not? No. I give up, I will go all right. Looking at the two women walking out of the bathroom, Yihua could finally have some peace. In the past, his mornings were always peaceful, but ever since this woman barged into his life, everything changed. His life could no longer be peaceful. Smoking a cigarette, Yihua sat at the bar counter and waited for breakfast. Actually, it is not bad to have a woman, at least I don't have to do many small things myself. However, she lacks discipline, she doesn't look like a wife at all. A black whirlpool could be seen appearing out of nowhere, and Wei Chang walked out from it and said respectfully, Your Honor, Long Outyin ran away. Yihua paused, then said gravely, Long Outyin was able to escape from your hands. Not really, this Long Outyin seems to have the ability to teleport, that's why he was able to escape. Wei Chang explained. This was what he heard from Death Mage, and Death Mage heard it from his underling, Death Assassin. Yihua did not speak, his index finger rhythmically tapped on the table, stared at Wei Chang, and said after a while, What do you think we should do about this matter? Wei Chang's heart sunk. This is his honor's test for me. If my answer is not to his honor's satisfaction, his honor will definitely give me a good scolding. Wei Chang's brain was like a 12-cylinder engine that started operating. What his honor pays attention to is human nature, and he definitely doesn't pay attention to killing people. Your Honor, this person's ability is still considered to be a minority, but to this planet, this is still the first time that we have encountered someone like this. I feel that we can monitor him and see if he has any accomplices, and also, where did he get his ability from? Wei Chang said with a nervous heart. He felt that this way of speaking was very difficult. Wei Chang's performance made Yihua have a whole new level of respect for Wei Chang. In the past, Wei Chang was just a simple-minded person. No matter what Yihua asked him to do, he would be very efficient. Even if he could obviously make use of something, he would still be very efficient. But now, he knows how to use his brain. That's right. I'm glad that you have such thoughts. As long as your honor is happy, it would be subordinate's unparalleled glory. Not sure when did Wei Chang also learn how to bootlick. Most probably, it was all because he watched TV dramas. I'll leave this Long Outyin to you. I hope you can give me a satisfactory answer. I will not let your honor down. Wei Chang shouted out gravely, then stood up and stepped into the black whirlpool, disappearing from Yihua's sight. A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. I am even able to train Wei Chang well, I don't believe that I am unable to handle a woman. Looking at the clock on the wall, it has already been half an hour, and Wei Chang still hasn't returned yet. Yihua took out a stick of cigarette, then squinted his eyes and looked towards the door. 8 o'clock a.m. 9 o'clock a.m. 10 o'clock a.m. 11 o'clock a.m. 12 o'clock a.m. The floor of the bar counter was already filled with cigarette butts, and there were even a few empty wine bottles on the bar table. Meanwhile, Yihua's expression was gloomy, seemingly as if he was going to spew out fire. This woman is really too arrogant. Doesn't she know that I am still waiting for breakfast? I can even eat Chinese food now. Outside of the bar, Qingye and Qing Yutong, who was fully armed, got off the car and took their bags. After the two of them finished eating breakfast, they passed by a shopping mall and accidentally strolled a little too much. The porridge had already turned cold, and the thick fried dough sticks had also turned soft. Big sister, even when I was standing outside, I could feel brother-in-law's resentment drifting out. Qing Yutong, who was wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, said in a low voice. To be honest, right now, I am a bit afraid. Qingye snorted coldly. That fool wouldn't really be waiting for breakfast, right? However, with my understanding of him, that is definitely the case. Furthermore, the moment I enter the restaurant, I will be able to see the look of him flipping out. Forget it, it's my fault today. At most, I'll just let him win this round. Qing Yutong pulled onto her big sister. It is still better for us to run. Let's wait for brother-in-law to calm down first. That's not calming down. That's adding fuel to the fire. Right now, Qingye was already able to clearly understand Yihua's temper. The more she resisted, the angrier Yihua would get. As long as I follow Yihua's heart, everything would be fine. Then what should we do? You still dare to say that? Wasn't it because you wanted to buy a few pieces of underwear, causing you to go shopping all over the mall? If not, such a thing wouldn't have happened. Qingye felt that her younger sister did it on purpose. Qing Yutong said with grievance, Big sister, the steering wheel is in your hands, it is not like I am able to control it. Moreover, didn't you also buy a big pile of it? You. Alright. I'll plead for brother-in-law later and strive for leniency. Qing Yutong, you sold me out just like that. SSS. Yihua, who was sitting inside, was able to hear the two of them playing around, and his anger became bigger and bigger. When he saw the two of them walking over with big and small bags, he almost went berserk. They actually went shopping. I completely forgot about myself. When the two sisters just entered the bar, they were still quarreling. However, when they saw Yihua, who was inside the bar counter, their hearts sunk, and they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Adding with the dusky atmosphere of the bar, it was simply frightening. Where did they go? Yihua asked coldly. One is my wife, and the other is my sister-in-law. Do I really have to kill them? The human nature in my heart was against it, but it was precisely because of this that Yihua was extremely angry. How many years has it been? Other than her, no one would dare to make me wait for so long. Qingye and Qing Yutong took a look at each other. Right now, the two sisters have to work together to be able to get through this difficult time. Brother-in-law, it's like this. In order to let brother-in-law eat the best fried dough sticks and congee in the city, big sister specially drove to the east of the city. Qing Yutong didn't act recklessly anymore. She felt that her brother-in-law was really angry. Yihua's cold gaze shifted towards Qingye, and the latter's heart was startled. She slightly lowered her head and said, Actually, what the heck is going there? But I have no choice, I am in the wrong, and I can't stand on my own 2 feet. Seeing that Qingye admitted to it, Yihua felt a bit better in his heart. However, when he saw the two of them carrying big and small bags, he became angry. Even if we go to the east of the city and go back, it will only take us 40 minutes. The two of you left the house at 7:30 a.m., look at what time it is now, it is already 12:30 a.m. Don't talk about traffic jam, Longtan City is not like a first-tier city. Brother-in-law, before Qing Yutong could finish speaking, Yihua interrupted her, let your big sister speak. Oh, Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Big sister, you better pray for your own good luck. Chapter 38. Yutong did not bring along a change of underwear, so we got off the car and went to the mall. Qinya changed from her previous overbearing attitude and spoke with an explanatory tone, which made Yihua feel very comfortable. Qing Yutong, who was at the side, was stupefied. Big sister instantly sold me out. I bought it back then, and it was you who wanted to keep it. You are obviously trying to anger brother-in-law. And then, although my anger has dissipated, I still have to teach her a lesson. Qinya's pretty face was a bit red as she stammered, and then, Yutong still wanted to buy a few pajamas. Qing Yutong's face immediately turned bad. This is obviously framing me. No, I must definitely expose Big Sister's true colors. But Big Sister was actually secretly pulling my clothes. This made Qing Yutong a bit surprised. I didn't think that Big Sister would actually pay so much attention to brother-in-law's feelings, but I am unjustly implicated. Yutong? Yihua asked gravely. Qing Yutong swore that next time, she will definitely not go shopping with Big Sister, brother-in-law. It is all Yutong's fault, don't blame Big Sister. Bang! Yihua heavily slammed onto the bar counter, scaring the two sisters into shrinking back. Why didn't you pick up the phone? Qinya, don't you know that you are pregnant? Losing contact for a few hours, don't you know that I was very worried? Qing Yutong, you don't have to take the blame for your big sister. Do you think I don't know what she is thinking? After venting out his anger, Yihua let out a sigh of relief. Am I worried about the child or worried about Qinya? Even I am not sure, but what I am sure of is one of the human emotions actually appeared in me again, worry. Yihua did not know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, because it had never happened before. Qing Yutong really wanted to praise brother-in-law for being wise, to be able to see through Big Sister's scheme in an instant. And Qinya was very surprised. This fellow actually said that he was worried about me. Is he for real? But looking at his expression, it seems that he is worried about me, and I am still very happy in my heart. I suddenly feel that Yihua is rather cute, especially this angry expression. He looks just like a child. We did not bring our phone with us, because we did not expect that it would take so long. Qinya explained. Then don't you know how to borrow or buy one? You don't even have this bit of common sense. Where did your brains go? The two sisters lowered their heads in silence. If they had known this would happen, they would have come back to deliver breakfast before going shopping. Brother-in-law, Big Sister also bought something for you. Qing Yutong suddenly thought of something and said hurriedly. Yihua went into a daze and looked towards Qinya. Qinya walked forward and handed over a small bag, then retreated a few steps back and stood together with her little sister. This kind of action is really too comical. This should be how elementary school students who make mistakes, right? Taking out the things inside the bag, what Yihua saw were 2 pairs of men's underwear. At this moment, Yihua felt that his heart was beating a bit abnormally. The frequency of his heartbeat was a bit fast, and it was also very hot. I can't be about to go berserk, right? Without turning his head back, Yihua went upstairs to check on the condition of his body. The two sisters heaved a sigh of relief at the same time. They had passed the test. One who survived a great disaster was bound to have good fortune later on. Sis, you owe me. Alright, I owe you. This morning, not only did I get taught a lesson by Yihua, I even had to let my little sister take the blame for me. If it wasn't for the fact that I prepared a pair of men's underwear, I reckon that I wouldn't have let it go so quickly. However, Big Sister, brother-in-law seems to care about you a lot. Qing Yutong threw the big and small bags onto the ground, then sat on the high chair. Qinya snorted, he will care about me. He cares about the child in my tummy. Big Sister, you can't say it like that, because in the end, there are a lot of scenes where the child ends up together. I have also accepted such a script before, and at that time, it was rather popular. Furthermore, with you being like this today, and also brother-in-law being like this, tsk. Are your feelings for each other coming to fruition? Go to hell. Chinya said with a straight face, her heart was thumping a bit. Looking at the fried dough sticks and congee that had become cold, Chinya walked upstairs. Qin Yutong pouted her mouth, still being stubborn. Yihua sat beside the office table. Just now, I did a full body checkup, and there is no problem. This is really strange. This Chinya is actually able to control my emotions. How is this possible? Bang, bang, bang. A series of knocking sounds rang out, and Yihua responded. Chinya could be seen walking in while holding onto the warmed-up congee, just that, the fried dough sticks were unable to maintain their crispy texture. I added sugar. Chinya placed the steaming hot congee and the cold fried dough sticks on the office table. Yihua looked at the congee blankly, feeling that it was very abnormal. This doesn't seem to be Chinya's style. Seeing that Yihua did not eat, Chinya steeled her heart and picked up the congee, lightly blew on it, then placed it beside Yihua's mouth. Here, open your mouth. The corner of Yihua's mouth twitched a bit. I am a man, it is not to the extent where I have to feed someone. I have hands. Yihua said unhappily. Chinya also became angry. I already gave in so much, and you still don't appreciate my kindness. Do you really think that I am afraid of you? It's more or less done. I have already been scolded by you for so long. Chinya's expression once again returned to how it was in the past. This caused the feelings that had just warmed up to immediately extinguish. Don't tell me that you don't deserve to be scolded. I want you to buy breakfast for a few hours. Do you want to eat or not? Chinya said angrily, then slammed the door and left. Yihua picked up the congee and wanted to throw it out, but this action of his stopped. After a while, he drank a mouthful. It was very sweet. Forget it, it is good that she has this intention. I have to take it slowly. Opening the door and walking out of the office, Yihua just happened to see Chinya preparing to go out. Dressed in a black suit, her beautiful hair was tied up behind her head, her entire temperament seemed very capable, just like a high and mighty queen. Where are you going? Yihua asked. Chinya snorted, going to the company. Today is Sunday, what are you going to the company for? Of course to earn money. If I don't earn money, are you going to support me? Chinya rolled her eyes at Yihua. Clearly, her anger had yet to dissipate. Yihua shouted out gravely, you are not allowed to go. It is one thing for you to bully me. Are you going to care where I go? Chinya retorted angrily, this man is simply overbearing to the limit. For the next 9 months, you can only stay by my side. Ha, I won't. Towards this kind of unreasonable troublemaker, Yihua only had one way, and that was to force her. Yihua grabbed onto Chinya's wrist and pulled her into his embrace. Ah, save me. Yutong, quickly come out and save your big sister, help me call 110. Chinya knew that she was not Yihua's opponent and hurriedly asked for help from her little sister. Qin Yutong, who was currently tidying up the storage room, opened the door and stuck her head out. Big sister, brother-in-law, when you two fight, don't bring sister-in-law along, all right? Seeing that her little sister was not going to help, Chinya said angrily, Qin Yutong, consider yourself ruthless. Yihua laughed lightly, all right, just now, my attitude was bad. Right now, it is already noon, even if you don't want to eat, our child still has to eat. Upon hearing that Yihua had admitted defeat, Chinya stopped struggling. You even brought out the child, is this all you have, Yutong? Let's go out and eat together. All right, brother-in-law. Chapter 39. The speed at which you two quarrel is not proportional to the speed at which you two reconcile. Qin Yutong didn't forget to tease Chinya a little. This is the pair that quarreled fiercely and reconciled the fastest. Look at them now, they are even hugging each other. Yihua said faintly, your sister only has this bit of ability. Yihua, if you want to quarrel, just say it, I will accompany you to the end. You are pregnant, your emotions need to be stable, if not it will not be good for the child. Yihua reminded. Recently, he had been reading books on this topic. You still know that pregnant women cannot get excited. Qingye glared at Yihua. Yihua said faintly, as long as you are obedient, we can still be together. Who cares? Brother-in-law, big sister, can the two of you not hug each other when you are quarreling? This way, there won't be the feeling of quarreling. Qing Yutong couldn't take it anymore. How is this quarreling? This is completely like showing off your love. Shut up. Shut up. Qing Yutong let out a deep sigh. You two can only bully a little girl like me who has no temper. Allow me to go and change my clothes. 10 minutes later, Qing Yutong changed back into Qingye, and she even changed into a sexy outfit, a tight black one-piece dress, and then, there was no then. Brother-in-law, how is it? Isn't it sexy? Qing Yutong stood in front of Yihua and spun around. Qingye snorted. She really wanted to kick Qing Yutong out, but thinking about how her little sister helped her in the morning, she decided to let her off this time. Yihua's gaze revealed out praise. This is more like it, getting to sleep on my bed. Not bad, much better than before. Qing Yutong said craftily, so brother-in-law likes this kind of stuff. Big sister heard that. Paw. Qingye raised her hand and slapped Qingye. Qingye touched her butt and said with a face of grievance, brother-in-law, big sister hit my butt, alright, let's go. Yihua said faintly. Qing Yutong stuck out her tongue towards her big sister and held onto Yihua's arm, causing Qingye to almost go berserk. The three of them did not drive out of the house. After walking out of the alley, they arrived at the roadside, and Qingye finally couldn't take it anymore. Look at what you two are like. What's wrong? I didn't even touch brother-in-law's buttocks. This is the etiquette of holding hands. Qing Yutong quibbled. Qing Yutong wanted to see her big sister's appearance of caring, and at the same time, showing that she didn't care. Yihua nodded his head, true. Brother-in-law is wise. Looking at the two of them echoing each other, Qingye was angered to the point that her hands were trembling. He is obviously my husband, yet, he is being held by my younger sister. Ah. There are still empty seats here. Yihua reminded. Are you giving me charity? I'm not going to help you. Brother-in-law, everyone thinks that I'm your wife. Big sister is your sister-in-law. Qing Yutong laughed coquettishly and hugged onto Yihua's arm tightly. This kind of peculiar stimulation was something that only Yihua was able to feel. Being hugged by my sister-in-law in front of my wife, this feels great. Qingye couldn't take it anymore and held onto Yihua's hand with an expression that said, I am his wife. Yihua laughed lightly, then hugged onto Qingye's willow waist, and did not hug onto Qing Yutong. This made Qingye feel much more balanced, and Qingye was completely unaware that Yihua was taking advantage of her. Brother-in-law, let's go and eat fish, that shop looks pretty good. Qing Yutong pointed at the shop that was not far away from them, and the shop was called World Peace. The exterior of the shop was well decorated and looked very stylish. Yihua asked Qingye, do you want to eat fish? Anything. Eating fish is quite good for pregnant women. Yihua brought the two sisters and walked towards the shop. On the way, all the men wished that they could kill Yihua. Beauties are a rare species, let alone a pair of beautiful twins. They are definitely rare among rare, and I actually have two of them. One has a fierce aura, and the other is sexy and charming. Aren't these two goddesses that drop down from the sky? Walking into World Peace Fish Shop, the business of this shop was indeed pretty good, and the decoration was also very romantic. At the entrance of the shop, ornamental fishes were displayed. Of course, not all of them were ornamental fishes. it was just that the price was expensive. Is there a private room? Qingye asked faintly. The waitress was still shocked by the appearance of this woman and didn't react for a moment. In actuality, all the men in the hall were looking towards this direction. There are beautiful twins, right? And all the women were looking at Yihua, and their saliva was about to drop into their bowls. Sorry, the private room is already full, there is only that table at the corner left. The waitress seemed to not be very confident, mainly because Qingye's aura was too strong. It seemed as if she was looking for someone to negotiate with. Looking towards that table at the corner, it really is at the corner. When had Yihua and Qingye ever sat at such a table before? The two of them came to a consensus at the same time, and that was to leave. However, Qing Yutong had already walked over. What else could Yihua and Qingye do? Could it be that they were going to leave Qing Yutong behind? Yutong, let's go to another place to eat. Qingye sat down and said faintly. Qing Yutong looked at the menu and said, what other place? It is good to sit at the corner, lest I get recognized by others. Moreover, this place is overcrowded, the fish would definitely not be bad. Look, it is so ridiculously expensive, it would definitely be delicious. Does your so-called delicious food mean that it is expensive? Qingye said with a black face. You get what you pay for. If it is not delicious, we will just make a fuss, brother-in-law, what do you say? Qing Yutong seemed to want to make a fuss. Yihua didn't have the mood to make a fuss and said calmly, you all can do as you please. Wow, there is actually caviar chocolate pudding here, big sister, quickly take a look. Qing Yutong seemed to be very excited, and Qingye also became interested. Taking over the menu and taking a look, this unremarkable shop actually has so many top-quality products. And the difficulty of making this top-quality caviar chocolate pudding was extremely high. Although the ingredients used were naturally top-quality, the price was not something that ordinary people could afford to eat, just this small piece cost 200k. Brother-in-law, look at this, bluefin tuna, I haven't eaten it for a long time. There are also gooseneck barnacles, two-headed abalone, 66666, big sister, just who opened this shop, there are so many amazing things here. Qing Yutong could be considered to be an international celebrity, she had eaten a lot of delicacies, but right now, she was sighing in admiration. Take this bluefin tuna for example, 200 plus kg was worth around 4 million, and this gooseneck barnacle was known as the golden seafood, 1 kilogram was worth over 10,000. Actually, the most expensive one was the caviar chocolate pudding. The caviar used was Iran's Overmars caviar. It was extremely rare, filled with 24k gold, 1 kilogram was worth 200k. Brother-in-law, what are you staring blankly for? Order the dishes. Qing Yutong said. Yihua could be considered to have experienced what was called a rich person. After this meal, without at least a few million, this shop is very interesting. Are you sure you want to order such expensive food? Yihua asked, feeling a little heartache. One must know that normally, Yihua would only order takeout, and at most, he would impulsively spend a few hundred. This time, he ordered over 1 million in one go, and he even had to eat a meal, his heart ached. Seems like Yihua had really changed in these 5 years, he became someone who knew how to save money. In the end, it was still a habit. The Yihua in the past did not need to worry about money, only after coming here did he know that money indeed comes quickly, but it has to be legal. After all, no matter how good the seafood is, it will be tasteless without the company of a beautiful woman. A man wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses appeared in front of the three of them in a refined and courteous manner. He spoke eloquently. Not bad, ah. However, you're trying to poach someone in front of the Supreme Sovereign. Isn't this like lighting a lamp in the toilet? You're looking for shit. Then continue to be boring. Yihua said coldly. Such a weak and small human doesn't even deserve to talk to me. However, I really couldn't help but want to slap this human flying away and disturb my peace. Zhang Tiankai rubbed his eyes and said seriously, "Mister, do you know how rude you are? I'm inviting you to stay silent." Qin Ye and Qin Yutong immediately laughed, and when they looked at Yi Hua's expression, they felt like laughing. However, the two sisters did not point it out. "This is too bad. This ignorant human actually told me to shut up. Who gave him the guts to do this? Where did he get his confidence from?" Zhang Tiankai once again revealed out a gentleman's smile. "Ladies, my table has top-notch king crab, Australian lobster, top-notch Hokkaido red-haired crab, top-notch foie gras, rare caviar, and—" "Shut up!" Yi Hua shouted out coldly, and a strange red light shone out from his pair of eyes. Zhang Tiankai seemed to have seen a terrifying skull quietly rising into the air and opening its pitch-black mouth, wanting to swallow him. Qin Ye and Qin Yutong didn't expect that Yi Hua would really get angry, because even they themselves got a fright. How could Yi Hua not get angry? A fly running in front of you buzzing non-stop, but it's a pity that I can't step on it to death. Because I am currently in the period of abstaining from killing, this kind of contradiction made Yi Hua very vexed. Therefore, normally, Yi Hua wouldn't go out, because he didn't want to meet with this kind of fool. Ruining 5 years of cultivation for a fool is not worth it at all. Zhang Tiankai came back to his senses. What happened to me just now, to actually be scared by this man? I lost so much face. Mister, don't think that you can casually bully people just because you are handsome. This kind of behavior will be condemned. Qin Ye knew that Yi Hua was very angry, but she seemed to be holding it in for some reason and shouted out coldly, "Enough, it is not your turn to judge my husband." That's right, why don't you go back and eat your abalone and lobster?" Qin Yutong naturally stood on Yi Hua's side and intimately leaned on Yi Hua's side. Yi Hua let out a sigh of relief, feeling that this can't go on. I have to think of a way to punish these humans who like to act cool. Slapping them to death with a single slap definitely won't work, then I will just make them jealous of what I can't get. Yi Hua could be seen hugging onto the two sisters, and the two sisters cried out in surprise, their faces and ears flushed red, especially Qin Yutong. You can only look at them forever, you won't even be able to touch a single hair of theirs. You are even more unworthy to dine with them. Yi Hua felt that he had become better and more humane. Zhang Tiansai's eyes revealed out a look of jealousy as he snorted, "What can you give them, a man who can't even afford a king crab? Mister, please move aside. Don't bother me." Zhang Tiankai shouted angrily. "Mister, please move aside." This sentence was clearly a warning, causing Qin Ye's willowy brows to wrinkle. This restaurant is so awesome. Zhang Tiankai turned his head around angrily, "What are you doing?" "The customer at this table ordered the bluefin tuna. Our chef will slice it into fish fillets right in front of the customers. Move aside." Looking at the 200+ kg bluefin tuna, Zhang Tiankai was dumbfounded. Not only Zhang Tiankai, the surrounding customers were also dumbfounded. I have never seen someone order such an expensive fish in the main hall before. Today, I have broadened my horizons. Zhang Tiankai quietly retreated. I actually stepped on an iron nail. Luckily I didn't bleed. This scared me to death. I should just go back and eat king crab. This kind of fish is too extravagant just by looking at it. Brother-in-law, you are taking advantage of me, Qin Yutong shouted out, as if she was afraid that her big sister couldn't hear her. As expected, Qin Ye's face darkened, taking advantage of my sister-in-law in front of my wife. For the first time, Yi Hua was a bit embarrassed. Misunderstanding. Humph, who is misunderstanding? You are using us to show off how awesome you are, right? Qin Ye said. Her tone was filled with jealousy. Qin Yutong was about to explode from laughing in her heart. Big sister even said that she doesn't like it, and yet, the taste of jealousy is so strong. Yi Hua was helpless. I just don't want to casually kill people, that's all. Yihua said, I will treat you to a good meal tonight. Who cares? Qinya said, her tone had clearly eased up. Chapter 41. Every part of the bluefin tuna had its own price. Some parts were expensive, while others were cheap. The belly of the bluefin tuna was rich in oil, tender and pink in color. It melted in one's mouth and tasted delicious. This was the most expensive part. The middle and back of the bluefin tuna had a moderate amount of oil. The taste of the meat was inferior and the color was lighter, so it was slightly cheaper. What the three of them mainly ate was the fish meat with big belly. Yihua also tasted the fish meat for a bit and felt that it was ordinary. It might be that I ate too many birds and beasts in the past, and right now, I am only interested in crayfish. A few years ago, I even continuously ate instant noodles and spicy sticks for an entire month. It's delicious. Qing Yutong had an infatuated look on her face, and although Qinya did not show it on her face, the happy expression on her face was able to explain everything. Yihua placed down his chopsticks. The two of them have never eaten anything better than this. Tonight, I will let them experience what is called delicacies. Bang! A crisp sound suddenly rang out. The customers in the restaurant looked up and saw a girl standing there in a daze. There were also a few porters, and the ground was covered with glass shards. There was also a bright red fish jumping around, and there was a broken dish beside it. The red fish jumped a few times and calmed down a lot. Its tail was raised, and it seemed like it was about to die. There was blood in the water. It seemed like the fish was injured when it fell. Oh my God, that should be the blood-red dragon. This kind of arowana is really rare. I didn't expect the owner of this shop to buy one, but it looks like it's hopeless. That girl is really careless. This blood-red dragon is worth at least 5 million. It's clearly the porter's problem. How could you blame a girl? The blood-red dragon on the ground flapped its tail weakly. Its blood-red scales were like its own blood, and its slightly raised head could no longer display its domineering aura of a king. Yihua looked at the fish on the ground, and it was as if he was looking at himself. Back then, how glorious was I! Yet, I was crazily attacked by the humans, and in the end, I could only wait for death to come. After coming back to life, I will think of ways to understand the humans, only then will I not repeat the same mistake. Yihua, that seems to be your employee, right? Qingye said. Yihua took a look, and it was indeed one of my employees. I didn't expect that she would work here during the day, and at my place during the night, she would work at my place. She is truly a hard-working girl. Yihua responded indifferently. Don't you want to say something? Qingye said unhappily. In any case, Qingye is still my employee, how can she be standing there feeling wronged? As the boss, you should at least step forward and say a few words. Yihua said faintly, if one does something wrong, then there should be a corresponding punishment. Regardless of whether this matter is related to her or not, she is still implicated in this matter. If she were to step forward now, she wouldn't even know where she went wrong. Qingye pouted her mouth. I thought that Yihua would be so cold-blooded, so this is the case. No, this fellow was indirectly lecturing him. What brother-in-law said is right, only by recognizing our own mistakes, would we be able to be more careful next time. Qing Yutong was standing on brother-in-law's side. Yihua expressed that he was very gratified and patted onto Qing Yutong's head. The latter squinted her beautiful eyes, seeming to be enjoying it very much, causing Qingye to be angered to the point that she became speechless at the side. The relationship between this man and my little sister is really too intimate, I can't let this go on, if not, I will really have to go and send condoms to him. Sure enough, a man in a black suit rushed over and was dumbfounded when he saw the dying, crimson dragon, on the ground. This was a fish that the boss had specially sent over. If the boss knew about this, he would be finished. Who? The man's eyes revealed out an ominous glint, and a faint killing intent was emitting out from his body. Yihua felt it and was a little surprised. The few movers immediately pointed at the girl. Tang Wei. The man shouted out, and his pair of eyes were filled with murderous intent. That's right, this girl was Tang Wei. Right now, she was dumbfounded, and her mind was in a daze. Tang Wei. Do you know how much this fish is worth? Right now, even if you have money, you won't be able to buy it. It is going to be extinct soon. Tang Wei seemed to be at a loss of what to do. She wanted to explain, but she was panicking to the point that she couldn't speak. At this moment, there was only one person that appeared in her mind, and she felt that only that person would be able to help her. Ignoring the manager's malicious gaze, Tang Wei took out her phone and sent a message. Just that, right after the message was sent out, the manager snatched the phone away and threw it onto the ground fiercely, then used his leather shoes that were made from alligator skin to step on the phone. My phone. Tang Wei choked with sobs. Although this phone only cost about 1,000 RMB, it was still bought with my hard-earned money. Holding onto a pile of phone parts, Tang Wei let out a sobbing sound. This kind of helplessness made one's heart ache. The manager wished that he could slap this brat to death and shouted out angrily, "What are you crying for? How can a lousy phone compare to my fish? Let me tell you, Tang Wei, prepare to work here for the rest of your life." Qingye couldn't bear to watch anymore and pulled onto Yihua, who was at the side. "It's about time. If you aren't going, I am going." Chapter 42. The manager was also dumbfounded. The fish was actually cured. Bullshit. Classmate Qi, thank you. Tang Wei wiped her beautiful eyes and expressed her gratitude to Qi Shuwen. Qi Shuwen revealed a polite smile. "Tang Wei classmate, please don't take it to heart, helping others is my motto. No matter what, I still have to thank you. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Since Tang Wei has made such a request, I won't refuse." Qi Shuwen smiled modestly. This commoner campus belle seemed to be interested in him. He didn't expect such a thing to happen just by having a meal. Qingye laughed involuntarily. "Yihua, there is someone who is faster than you and is better at acting cool than you." Yihua remained silent. However, this young man was the second person that he had seen who was capable, and the first person that he had seen was Long Outyin. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared at the entrance of the shop and pushed the door open with an oppressive aura. Lil Tang. Uncle Wei, that's right. Tang Wei's message for help was sent to Wei Chang. In Tang Wei's heart, Wei Chang was the man who cared about her. Right now, with a wronged expression, she threw herself into Wei Chang's embrace and cried bitterly. Qi Shuwen was stupefied. What is this situation? Who is this security uncle? Is he Tang Wei's uncle? It seemed like that was the case. His niece was being bullied, and as an uncle, he had to come and help. Yihua, isn't that your security captain? Wow, brother-in-law, your little brother is so handsome, Uncle Appa, Qin Yutong said exaggeratedly. Yihua didn't expect that Wei Chang would suddenly appear, and the reason why he came was actually because of this girl. This caused Yihua to be very surprised. When did my subordinates become so conscientious? Wei Chang patted the girl in his arms to comfort her. Lil Tang, tell me, who bullied you? Actually, Wei Changlai's reason was very simple. His little brother was being bullied, and as the big brother, he should step forward to teach the other party a lesson. This was what he had done in the past. Uncle Wei, it's fine now. Tang Wei blushed a little and broke away from Wei Chang's embrace. Why are you crying for no reason? Wei Chang was in a bad mood. When he saw the phone parts in Tang Wei's hand, his brows immediately wrinkled. Although Tang Wei came to Leisure Bar not long ago, Wei Chang knew that Tang Wei was very thrifty and would walk to work every day. What happened to the phone? Wei Chang asked. Tang Wei felt that she shouldn't trouble Uncle Wei, so she said, I accidentally broke it. I say, what's wrong with a broken security guard like you? Why are you standing up for a beauty? The manager was already very unhappy. When he saw a man in a security uniform shouting in his store, he instantly became angry again. Looking at this scene, Qingya was very worried. Yihua, quickly go over, it seems like they are going to fight. I'm fine. In this world, there are very few people who are able to defeat Wei Chang, and the number of people who are able to defeat Wei Chang can be counted with 2 hands. You! Qingya said angrily, then stood up and prepared to go and help Wei Chang. However, right after she stood up, she was pulled into Yihua's embrace. Just watch. Ayaya, I can't stand you two anymore, showing off your affection in public. Qing Yutong covered her eyes and teased. With a red face, Qingya struggled a few times. This scoundrel, he still said that he wouldn't touch the same woman a second time. What nonsense, look at how many times he has already taken advantage of me. The main reason was still because of the child, causing the two of them who were from different worlds to be together miraculously. Without the child, Yihua wouldn't even care about Qingya, and Qingya wouldn't even turn around to look for Yihua. However, fate is always so mysterious. This was also the reason why Yihua didn't try to control it, because it would always bring him a surprise. Just that, right now, he was a bit annoyed by this kind of surprise, because this woman was slowly changing him. Just like that weak little human who dared to speak arrogantly to me just now. If it was a few months ago, he wouldn't even be able to see tomorrow's sun. Of course, I wouldn't make a move on him, but right now, I don't even want to care about him. Could it really be like what Wei Chang said, that this is human's love? Yihua wasn't very sure and needed to investigate further. It has only been a few days. I am a supreme overlord, and she is just an ordinary human. Although she is considered to be outstanding among humans, she is still not qualified to be a match for me. It should be because of the child. It should be like this. Yihua, who was hugging onto Qingya, silently thought. Although he was thinking, his hands were still caressing onto Qingya's abdomen, causing Qingya's face to turn completely red. Qing Yutong couldn't stand it anymore. Even if the two of you want to look for trouble, can you go to the toilet? It's fine if this manager doesn't respect me, but what right does he have to insult Uncle Wei? Manager, what right do you have to insult people? So what if I am a security guard? At least I am stronger than you who is dressed in a suit. Tang Wei changed from her weak attitude just now and actually argued with the fierce manager in front of her. The manager snorted in disdain, a lousy security guard and a poor woman, both of you scram, don't affect my business. At this moment, the surrounding customers were a bit displeased. This was a very unique restaurant. After all, the food that was cooked was quite delicious, but right now, they felt that this kind of good restaurant was ruined by this manager. Sigh, I won't be coming next time. I didn't expect that this kind of person would be able to become a manager and ruin the reputation of this restaurant. Chapter 43. Paw. Try hitting me again. Do you know who is my backer? Paw. My backer can poke you to death with just a finger. Paw. My backer. Paw. My backer. Paw. It was smashed by me. The manager was actually beaten to tears by Wei Chang. This is what it means to be arrogant. No matter how powerful your backer is, I will still slap your face. Other than Yihua, everyone else was stupefied. This security guard had simply refreshed their worldview. Although it was very satisfying, but he was still too impulsive. Now that he is satisfied, has he ever thought of the consequences? Qi Shuwen was also very surprised. This uncle of Tang Wei is not simple. The speed at which he hits people is extremely fast, almost catching up to my hand speed. Seems like he is a martial artist. And right now, Tang Wei's heart was intoxicated. Uncle Wei actually took the risk to help me vent my anger. I am really too touched. When the other party said that I have a powerful backer, Uncle Wei was still not afraid. This is what a real man is. Yi Hua, this employee of yours is too ruthless. Qin Yutong finished her big sister's words. Yi Hua said faintly, you all have never seen the more ruthless side of him. Right now, he is just messing around. Brother-in-law, can I trouble you to get rid of this bad habit of acting cool? Qin Yutong poked her brother-in-law and said while beaming. In actuality, I just like to see brother-in-law silently acting cool. It is too interesting. Qin Ye was currently still sitting in Yi Hua's embrace and said calmly, your brother-in-law also suffers from acting cool after smoking syndrome. Every time he finishes smoking, he would have to act cool for a bit. Ah, brother-in-law actually has this kind of syndrome. Can it be cured? Qin Ye pouted her mouth. From what I see, this is a terminal illness. There is no cure. Paw. A slap firmly smacked onto Qin Ye's perky butt, and the latter was smacked silly. Qin Yutong cried out in surprise, big sister, seeing this scene, I suddenly recalled the scene when you were spanked by your father when you were young. Ha ha ha. Yi Hua suddenly laughed out loud. This kind of laughter seemed to have a demonic nature, causing everyone to look towards his direction. Qin Ye wished that she could seal her little sister's mouth, immediately left Yi Hua's embrace and sat at the side to calm down. This time, Qin Yutong was really stupefied. What did I say just now, to actually make my cold and aloof brother-in-law let out such a laugh, and big sister who was bashful and angry? What is going on? When Wei Chang saw Yi Hua who was laughing loudly, his heart sunk. I wonder if his honor is satisfied with my performance just now. No way. He had to show off a little more and show that he had brains. When Tang Wei saw the boss and the lady boss. I can't even tell which one is the lady boss. It can't be that both of them are the lady boss, right? However, this doesn't matter, having Uncle Wei is enough. The way I feel towards the boss is just like having a small fan. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chang was very alert now, like a primary school student taking an exam. Tang Wei seemed to not want to cause trouble for Wei Chang, and said, Uncle Wei, forget it, it's not worth much money. Paw. Wei Chang gave the manager another slap, and the latter said aggrievedly, I didn't say anything just now. Your eyes are speaking. Wei Chang said coldly. I feel that what I did just now would be able to satisfy his honor. After all, I am able to discern people's thoughts from their body language. The manager really wanted to die, but he didn't have time to think and immediately closed his eyes. Now you don't have an excuse to beat me. Paw. The manager was in despair. Why, Wei Chang said gravely, you had body language just now. After finished speaking, the manager immediately sneaked a peek at his honor. Being able to understand other people's body language, I should be able to add some points, right? The manager swore that I definitely didn't move just now. This damn security guard was just finding an excuse to beat me up. Paw. Drops of tears slid down the firm face of the manager. The manager held onto his face and said while choking with sobs, I closed my eyes just now, and I didn't move at all. Why did you? You were speaking in your heart. Wei Chang felt that he had passed the test, being able to understand other people's minds. Qin Ye and Qin Yutong were about to cramp up from laughing. This handsome uncle is too funny. You have already beaten others to the point of despair, and there is no other reason for you to beat others up. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. Wei Chang's performance today is not bad. Being able to understand how humans think from all aspects can be counted as a small improvement. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chang turned around and asked lightly. Tang Wei was currently in a drunken state. Uncle Wei was very cold when he was beating me up, but he was still so gentle towards me. Ah. Is Wei Chang's expression a gentle one? It doesn't seem like it, right? No matter what, in Tang Wei's eyes, Wei Chang looked like this. 1888, Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chang nodded his head. Compensate me. Big brother, you should have said it earlier, isn't it just money? If you had said it earlier, I would have compensated you. How big of a matter is this? What's the matter? Why are you making such a ruckus? Don't you know that I am receiving a distinguished guest? A middle-aged man could be seen walking down slowly, and behind him was a young man and a young woman. The man was handsome, wore a custom-made white suit, and the watch on his wrist should be an Abbey Millennium Series watch. The watch was made of 18K rose gold, and it gave off a strong sense of heroism. The price of the watch was a terrifying 8 digits. The woman was incomparably beautiful. She had a devilish figure, her exquisite face was filled with the colors of an Oriental woman, and her expression was indeed very gentle. The dress that she was wearing was very unique, and from the looks of it, it was also custom-made. On her spotlessly white wrist, there was also a rose gold watch. It should be a couple's watch. Seeing that his savior had arrived, the manager did not care about the risk and rushed in front of Zhou Yi, hugged onto Zhou Yi's leg, pointed at Wei Chang and said while kneeling, Zhou Yi, he hit me. Zhou Yi's face immediately darkened by half. This shop was opened in partnership with a very mysterious person. It's just that the other person was low profile and did not like to open a big shop. That was why he opened the shop on such a scale. If he was the one who opened the shop, it would definitely be a high-end shop. But his own man was actually beaten into a pig's head, and most importantly, he even ran to his parents like a child to complain. His face was completely lost. You can scram now, Zhou Yi said in a deep voice. This kind of person is completely useless, he doesn't even have the courage to fight back. The manager looked at Zhou Yi with teary eyes. Why did it become like this? Is it wrong for me to be unable to win? Is it wrong for me to bring out my backer? Is it wrong for me to ask for help when I am unable to win? Why are all of you like this? I don't want to play anymore. Zhou Yi, your man is very interesting, the young man at the back said with a slight smile. Zhou Yi sighed. Young Master Xiao, Madam Xiao, I have let the two of you witness a joke. Nangong Sini smiled sweetly and did not say anything. Every single movement of hers revealed the demeanor of a big shot. Looking at the person who came down, Qingya was slightly surprised. Yihua sensed it. What's the matter? Yihua looked over. This man's looks are not bad, and the woman is also not bad. However, compared to my woman, they are far from being comparable. Do you know where the difference is? Because Qingya is my woman, she is born to be above everything else. Chapter 44. Qing Yutong ate the fresh and tender fish meat, and said curiously, Big sister, this can't be your ex-boyfriend, right? Upon hearing what Qingya said, Yihua's face immediately darkened. While waiting for Qingya to give an explanation, I don't mind making this ex-boyfriend of mine bleed on the spot. Yihua, don't listen to Yutong's nonsense. Qingya hurriedly explained. However, after she finished speaking, she immediately scolded herself in her heart. Why did I have to explain to him, and even so quickly? Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. From the looks of it, big sister is indeed interested in brother-in-law. Tell me what happened? That's right, that's right. Sis, don't keep us in suspense. Qingya let out a sigh of relief, then looked at the man and woman who were not far away and said, This man is called Xiao Yi, a member of Zijin City Xiao family. To be precise, he is an illegitimate child. I heard that he was chased out of Xiao family back then, but a few years ago, he suddenly rose to power, and even married Nangong family's big miss and established Dragon God Corporation. He is Xiao Yi. I have also heard about it. I heard that he has a lot of wives. Qing Yutong added. Many wives. How could such a man have so many wives? Even I, the Supreme Overlord, only have one wife. What right do you have to have a lot of wives? He glanced at his sister-in-law. She was pleasing to the eye. Brother-in-law, what kind of look is that? I am a woman from a good family. Qing Yutong came over and covered her chest with both of her hands, just like a girl who was being molested. Qing Yi couldn't be bothered to say anything to Yi Hua. My younger sister just likes to mess around, and she completely didn't know that this time, Yi Hua indeed had such thoughts. Sister, why aren't you saying anything? Brother-in-law has taken a fancy to his sister-in-law. Don't you care about it? All right then, I don't need you to give me condoms anymore. I want to have a baby with brother-in-law. Seeing that his big sister did not have any reaction at all, he immediately hugged onto Yi Hua's arm. Qing Yi couldn't help but want to take off her shoes and cover herself up. Yi Hua expressed that his sister-in-law's development is not bad, and she is a bit stronger than Qing Yi. Now, Lord Jiu was very curious. Who dared to cause trouble in his territory? Didn't they know how the word death was written? When he saw that familiar blue uniform and that face, Lord Jiu was stunned. Looking at Jiu Yi who was walking over, Tang Wei was very afraid as she grabbed onto Wei Chang's sleeves. Back then, I heard from my colleague that this Jiu Yi is someone who can cover the sky with one hand in long and city and is extremely arrogant, but I never expected that this shop was actually this Jiu Yi's shop. He had caused Uncle Wei to suffer miserably. Since Lord Jiu had already spoken till this point, the people that were still sitting felt embarrassed to sit down and watch the show. After all, they still had to give face to Lord Jiu. Not long later, everyone left, even Qi Shuwen left. Right now, I don't want to go and provoke this kind of big shot, so I obediently went to the sea to eat shrimps. Miss, my shop has some private matters to take care of. A waiter came to Yi Hua's table and said politely. Waiving the fees for this table was very painful. After we finish eating, we will naturally leave. Qing Yi said indifferently, I really don't understand why Yi Hua's employees are so arrogant. Qing Yutong was very unhappy. The show had just started. How can I leave just like that? Don't worry, I won't forget about your money, my brother-in-law has plenty of it. The waiter was a little displeased. I already waived such an expensive fee, yet you still don't want to leave. However, it wasn't good for me to say anything, so I can only go and report to the waiter. Director Gong, the customer at that table is not willing to leave. The waiter came in front of Jiu Yi and said respectfully. Jiu Yi was currently in a fit of anger. Right now, whoever dares to provoke me will be the one to be unlucky. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry are coming to annoy me. Do they really think that I am that easy to provoke? Turning his head and looking towards a table at the corner, Jiu Yi's chin almost dropped to the ground. My God, I didn't check the almanac when I went out today. The real big boss is actually sitting there and watching the show. If I had shouted out just now, just imagine how serious the consequences would be. When Jiu Yi saw the woman beside the big boss, he couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he didn't even want the woman that was delivered to his doorstep. Where else can I find this kind of woman? Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini also saw Yi Hua's table and went into a slight daze. They felt that these three people were a bit interesting. Jiu Yi swallowed his saliva, then walked over with a respectful expression and shouted towards Yi Hua, Boss. This word, boss, was clearly heard by everyone present. Other than Wei Chang, who was not surprised, everyone else was stupefied, even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini. The two of them were guessing in their hearts, could it be that the boss behind this Jiu Yi is him? Looking at Jiu Yi's respectful expression, it seems like it is indeed so. Chapter 45. But this middle-aged man in front of him actually called Yi Hua boss with a respectful attitude. He couldn't have recognized the wrong person, right? Right now, Qing Yutong was not fooling around. She was sitting upright at the side, appearing to be very cold and elegant. Adding on the black dress that she was wearing, she was simply extremely sexy. The acting skills of a movie empress was not just for show. Towards this brother-in-law, Qing Yutong was only curious as to why big sister would have a child with him, and wanted to dig out this gossip. Just that, the surprises that brother-in-law brought wave after wave, are really too interesting. Could it be that brother-in-law is a big shot of some organization, and he is hiding in this flower city, and then, on a beautiful night, he came to save the beauty, and big sister was taken care of? The plot should be like this. It must be said that the reasoning ability of the movie queen was too strong. The first half of the story was actually guessed correctly, but the second half was completely wrong. It was her big sister who delivered herself to his door. "Xiao Zhou, this restaurant of yours is a bit expensive," Yi Hua said lightly. Calling him Xiao Zhou was giving him face. If he didn't give him face, he would directly tell him to scram. Zhou Ye's expression changed, and he hurriedly said, "My subordinates are not sensible, they didn't know that the boss came to eat." I immediately criticized them. It wasn't easy for me to come out to eat, but my mood was completely ruined. Yi Hua picked up a napkin and lightly wiped the corner of his mouth. That indifferent gaze of his, and every movement he made emitted out a faint aura of a superior. At this moment, Wei Chang couldn't pretend that he didn't see anything, and hurriedly walked forward and shouted, "Boss." Tang Wei also followed behind and shouted, "Boss." Yi Hua placed the napkin on the table. "Xiao Zhou, my employee's phone is broken." "Don't worry boss, I will compensate." Looking at Tang Wei who was standing behind Wei Chang, Yi Hua said indifferently, "That manager just now was chased away by you, right?" A drop of cold sweat appeared on Zhou Ye's forehead. This boss obviously has a hidden meaning in his words. Why did he bring up that idiot for no reason? There must definitely be a reason. I have to properly figure out the boss's meaning. If I say it correctly, it will naturally be good, but if I say it wrongly, it will be hard to hug onto this thigh. After remaining silent for 3 seconds, Zhou Yi immediately understood Yi Hua's meaning. "I also only found out today. I didn't expect that the manager's attitude would be so bad." "Xiao Tang, this girl is not bad, she is calm and collected. I definitely think that she can become the manager." As expected of the experienced Zhou Yi, it only took him 3 seconds to understand Yi Hua's meaning. This also meant that the title of Zhou Yi was not for nothing. Tang Wei had a bit of the intention to refuse. After all, being promoted in such a short period of time feels so unreal. Wei Chang was startled. "His honor is already standing up for you. If you are to reject him, wouldn't that be bad?" "Lil Tang, hurry up and thank him," Wei Chang hurriedly urged. Right now, Tang Wei only trusted Wei Chang. She could only nod her head and say, "Thank you, Director Gong." "You are wrong to thank me," Wei Chang reminded again. "Xiao Tang's brain is even worse than mine." Tang Wei cried out in surprise and was a bit flustered. Only after a while did she understand what was going on and said to Yi Hua, "Thank you, boss." Yi Hua said faintly, "Thank him, there is no need to thank me." Tang Wei immediately felt embarrassed. Wei Chang was also having a headache. Could it be that my judgment is wrong again? Alright, the other person has already thanked you, yet, you are still putting on a stern face, Qing Ye said in a low voice. "I obviously wanted to help the other person, yet, I am still acting as if it wasn't my original intention." Yi Hua glared at Qing Ye. "A boss should act like a boss. Don't tell me that I still have to be so mischievous with my subordinates. I have to properly teach Qing Ye about this. A small matter, a small matter." Zhou Yi smiled apologetically. Yi Hua was rather satisfied with this Zhou Yi. His brain works fast enough. He stood up and said, "After eating, let's go home." "Boss, madams, I will go and prepare the car right now." "Madams." Qing Ye's face immediately darkened. and Qing Yutong's face immediately reddened. Yihua was very calm. My sister-in-law is still under my investigation. Whether or not she is able to become the second madam will depend on her luck. This scoundrel is actually not explaining. He has ulterior motives. Brother-in-law is actually not explaining. Big sister is also not speaking. Could it be that they are planning to? Also perverted. CEO Qing, long time no see. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who had been observing from the side, walked over, and the one who spoke was Nangong Sini, who had a slight smile on her face. Yihua took a glance at her. This woman's temperament is not bad, and her overall appearance is not bad. It is a pity that she is not clean. Qingye seemed to be searching for her memories in her mind. I don't seem to have any dealings with her, but since the other party has already greeted me politely, I can't be like Yihua and ignore her. Madam Xiao, hello. Qingye clenched her small fists. Right now, I really want to strangle my little sister to death. She is actually impersonating me. That's right. Qing Yutong was even faster than Qingye. She immediately stood up and shook hands with Nangong Sini. This kind of action made even Yihua reveal out a trace of a smile. This sister-in-law really knows how to cause trouble. Look at Qingye's expression. She is almost unable to hold it in anymore. CEO Xiao, you are still so handsome. Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. She who mingled in the entertainment circle was very good at speaking. Even if she did not know someone, she would still be able to pretend that she knew someone. Just that, Qing Yutong's words made Yihua unhappy. As my sister-in-law, there is no need for you to please others. It is fine for you to just wait for others to compliment you. Xiao Yi was also incomparably surprised towards this pair of sisters. The luck of the man in the middle is even better than mine. I am really envious. CEO Qing is still so beautiful. This is. Xiao Yi asked with a smile. He was very curious about the identity of this man. Although Jiu Yi said that this man was the madam's just now, Xiao Yi still didn't quite believe it. He is my husband, Yihua, Qing Yutong said magnanimously. Right now, I am disguised as my big sister, so brother-in-law is naturally my husband. That's right. Qingye couldn't hold it in anymore, and with an apologetic smile, she stood up. CEO Xiao, Madam Xiao, my little sister likes to mess around, please don't mind her. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini were a bit puzzled. Just what is the relationship between these three people? Qing Yutong laughed tenderly. Sorry, my big sister is jealous. In actuality, he is my brother-in-law. If you continue to mess around, then go back. Qingye snorted coldly. This little sister of mine is getting more and more out of control. Qing Yutong's little face collapsed, then pulled onto Yihua, who was at the side, and said pitifully, brother-in-law, big sister is scolding me. Qingye, enough. Yutong is still a child. Yihua patted onto Qing Yutong, who had a dumbfounded face, and said calmly. 10,000 monkeys floated around in Qing Yutong's mind. You are the child. Have you ever seen a child with such a good figure? Right now, Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini still hadn't thought of Qing Yutong, the big celebrity, and only felt that these three people were a bit weird. Chapter 46. CEO Qing, when did you get married? You didn't even inform big sister? Nangong Sini faintly smiled. She actually called big sister. It seems like she wants to get closer to her. To Nangong Sini, this was definitely an action that was giving face to Nangong Sini. However, Qingye had an indescribable feeling, as if she was at a disadvantage. Why do I have to call you big sister? What does this have to do with you? Yihua really wanted to chase the two of them away, but he felt that it would be meaningless if he did that. He really wanted to see how Qingye was going to deal with this matter. After being together with me for a few days, it is time for me to change. This woman still dared to call herself sister? Did she eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? If it was 1 month ago, Qingya would definitely grab onto this kind of opportunity. However, right now, she didn't have the slightest bit of such a thought. Looking at Yihua, could it be that I have been brainwashed? Madam Xiao, Yihua and I have not had a banquet yet. Qingya gave out a courteous smile. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini slightly wrinkled their brows. This Qingya doesn't seem to be giving face at all, she is a woman with character. The two of them seemed to be used to it. This kind of woman was just like that, it seemed like she used this kind of method to attract their attention. CEO Qing, tomorrow night I will be holding a banquet. I hope you can give me some face. Nangong Sini changed from her previous gentle tone and invited with a businesslike tone. Qingya nodded her head and did not refuse, all right. Sini, let's go. It's too stuffy here. Xiao Yi said indifferently. Nangong Sini said in a tender voice, CEO Qing, we'll be leaving first. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. The two of them sat in the Rolls-Royce parked outside. Xiao Yi hugged his wife and unhappily asked, why did you invite such a disrespectful woman? Nangong Aksayan said gently, it is precisely because she did not give you face that you invited her. Although it is only a small banquet, the people who came are all trying to curry favor with you. Xiao Yi laughed and lifted his wife's chin. It seems that you are more stingy than me. Only now do you realize how rare it is for me to be alone with you. You have to do your best tonight, I guarantee that I will complete the daily missions and make you wish you were dead. In the dining hall, Qing Yutong burped very unladylike. Big sister, the famous madam of Xiao family wants to address you as a sister, and you really don't give her any face. Yihua stood up and said faintly, there is no need to give face to others, Qingya did very well. Yutong, you should learn from your big sister. Qingya laughed complacently, then immediately became clear-headed. What am I laughing for? It seems like I am a little wife that is being praised. This scoundrel is making fun of me again. Your Honor, do you want subordinate to go and deal with those two people from just now? Wei Chang sent out a private message. People like them who are disrespectful to His Honor should live in hell. Wei Chang, I originally wanted to praise you. Don't always think about fighting and killing. You have to be more humane. A salted fish will forever be a salted fish. Even if you turn over a new leaf, you will still be a salted fish, do you understand? This subordinate is ignorant. Looks like I shouldn't have asked you to deal with the assassin group. Use this time to reflect on human nature. Your Honor is wise, we are far inferior to you. You go back first. Yes. After the two of them finished their private conversation, Wei Chang respectfully said, Boss, I'll leave first. Yihua grunted faintly. Tang Wei seemed to have something to say, but in the end, she mustered up her courage and said, Boss, I think it is better to let someone else be the manager. Yihua wrinkled his brows. Wei Chang thought to himself, this is bad. Xiao Tang, don't anger His Honor anymore. There is still 1 more month before school starts. I was thinking about it just now, I still have to focus on my studies during the day and work at night. Up to you. Yihua said lightly, stopping Zhou Yi from sending them off. Then, he brought along his wife and sister-in-law and walked out of Hitianxia. This meal is still free. Counting the money, I can buy a lot of crayfish with the money. When Zhou Yi saw those big shots leaving, he let out a sigh of relief. I better not bump into this boss again in the future. Uncle Wei, wait for me for a moment, I will go and change my clothes. Tang Wei revealed out a cute smile, just like a little bird that had just obtained its freedom. Wei Chang nodded his head, and not long later, Tang Wei walked over. In actuality, Tang Wei's appearance was really not bad. She was a standard classical beauty, with a spotlessly white and flawless oval face, coupled with that tall and slender figure. No matter where she went, she would be a beautiful scenery. As expected of the school belle, it was also Yihua's fault for setting his sights too high. The white dress that Tang Wei was wearing added a hint of fairy-like feeling to her. However, Wei Chang did not have any reaction at all. It can't be helped, who asked me to not be interested in women, only interested in eating humans. If it was Lai Gu who tried it, he would definitely be able to make a deal that was worth hundreds of billions. Uncle Wei, you haven't eaten yet, right? Let me treat you to a meal. Tang Wei held on to her cheap handbag and said with a smile. Wei Chang said, no need, Xiao Tang, I had just bought some groceries and was preparing to cook for myself. Really? Uncle Wei, I am not bragging, but the food that I cook is very delicious. Is that so? Wei Chang asked puzzledly. Tang Wei nodded her head with a smile. Of course, I will cook for you and you will know after you eat. All right then, thank you, Xiao Tang. Wei Chang smiled. In actuality, he did not have any other meaning, but Tang Wei seemed to be very shy and decided to properly understand Uncle Wei. When they arrived at Wei Chang's rented house, Tang Wei discovered that Uncle Wei was actually living alone, and the house was very clean. Once again, Tang Wei expressed her admiration towards Wei Chang and decided that in the future, she would come and cook for Uncle Wei. Wei Chang was completely unaware that he was being pestered by a little beauty, but it must be said that Tang Wei's guts was still rather big, to even dare to get close to Wei Chang. One must know that out of the 7 sins, other than Lai Gu, the other 5 chose to avoid Wei Chang. Because Wei Chang was a one-track-minded person, it was very hard to communicate with him. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Qingya walked to the bedroom and took a nap. Yihua did not disturb Qingya and went to the office to watch cartoons. Human nature was still very important. After Qing Yutong washed her makeup, she was cleaning the storage room. After all, there was still 1 more month before she could move out, and she wanted her own personal space. After she finished cleaning the storage room with great difficulty, Qing Yutong wiped off the sweat on her forehead and muttered, "This brother-in-law, he really doesn't know how to love his sister-in-law, not even coming to help." Pushing open the door of the office, a voice immediately rang out from inside the office, causing Qing Yutong to go into a daze. As I wish, Qing Yutong stared blankly at the Calabash brothers on the television, then looked at her brother-in-law who had a serious look on his face. Her worldview was completely destroyed, such a grown man, and yet, he is still watching cartoons. "Brother-in-law," Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly. If it was someone else, Yihua would have mercilessly given that person a slap, but unfortunately, that person was his sister-in-law. N. Yihua replied faintly. Qing Yutong sat beside Yihua, then picked up the remote control and directly changed the show. "Brother-in-law, why are you still so childish? Let me introduce a better show to you. I watch it every day." Yihua resisted the urge to slap his sister-in-law, to actually change the show without my permission. Even Qingya wouldn't dare to do this. "Here, look at this, it's super good." After choosing the show, Qing Yutong crossed her long and beautiful legs and had a face full of expectation. "Big sister, what is there to talk about? Quickly turn on the TV." Qing Yutong urged. "Qing Yutong, what exactly do you want to do now? In the past, when you were filming, you would not return home all year round, and now that you say that you are not going to do it, what are you going to do about your compensation for breach of contract?" Qing Yutong spread out her hands indifferently. "I have already paid the penalty fee. Other than that Ferrari, right now, I don't even have the money to refuel my car. Then what are you planning to do? Eat and wait for death?" "Big sister, don't say it like that. I am a woman with a plan," Qing Yutong said mysteriously, seemingly like she was going to do something big, and this made Qingya's anger calm down a bit. "What have you decided to do?" Qing Yutong stood up, slightly raised her chin to a 45 degrees angle, then said in a deep voice, "I have decided to become a female anchor." "Female anchor?" Chinya went into a daze for a moment, then continued, "You, a person who graduated from acting, want to become a female anchor. Did Dad find some connections for you?" "Big sister, I am not talking about that female anchor, I am talking about live broadcast on the platform, the kind that can be watched on the computer." Chinya went into a daze, and soon after, her face began to twitch. It was obvious that she was extremely angry. Qin Yutong thought to herself, "This is the prelude to a fight," and immediately hid behind Yihua. You quit when your career is at its peak. You don't even want to be a movie queen and actually went to become a female anchor. I am going to teach you a lesson on behalf of Dad today." Chinya was angered by her sister. Back then, she went to become a celebrity no matter what, and now that her career is at its peak, she quit. She actually went to become a female anchor, my God. Is there something wrong with her brain? Looking around the surroundings, Chinya picked up the broom that was at the corner and chased after her sister. There definitely is a deep hatred between the two of them. "Brother-in-law, why aren't you controlling your wife?" It hurts. The two women immediately chased after each other in the office. It was very lively. Yihua stretched out his hand and carried Chinya into his embrace, and the latter said unhappily, "Let go of me, I am definitely going to beat her to death today." Tsk, tisk, seeing that her big sister was being carried, Qin Yutong made a face and provoked. "Alright, be careful not to hurt the fetus," Yihua said tenderly. Chinya was so angry, she helplessly threw away the broom in her hand, then turned her head and looked towards her man. Look at what she has become. Since young, she has been acting according to her temper. Sooner or later, something bad will happen. There is nothing wrong with being an anchor. Every profession has its own master. It is fine as long as you are happy. Yihua felt that it was very miraculous that he was actually able to say such a reasonable sentence. Qin Yutong was very happy. That's right, what brother-in-law said is right. Every profession has its own master. Big sister, you actually look down on an anchor. I despise you. Yutong, you should also speak less. Your big sister is pregnant. Yihua warned, and as expected, it was very effective. The two sisters did not say anything anymore. After a long while, Qin Yutong said calmly, "I also want to accompany my parents more. These few years, I have been busy with filming and almost forgot that I have a home. It is fine for me to just stay at home as an anchor." Chinya went into a daze. "I didn't expect that my little sister would have such thoughts. Seems like I misunderstood her." Just that, Chinya neglected one thing. Qin Yutong was a movie empress level person, who knows how many times she had acted out this kind of tragic drama. "Then tomorrow, you can go back to Zijin City to accompany your parents, or go back to Long-An City to accompany your grandparents," Chinya said faintly. Qin Yutong immediately came in front of Chinya and held on to her big sister's delicate hand. "How can I do that, big sister? You are pregnant now. Brother-in-law is a man. He will definitely not take good care of you. It is fine as long as your little sister is here. When my little nephew is born, I still want to bring him to go to the disco. If I say that I am not moved, I would be lying. It is still good that my little sister has this kind of thinking." "Then, how do you plan to become an anchor?" Chinya said calmly, seeming to have already given her approval, causing Qin Yutong to be overjoyed. "As long as I can get past big sister, there won't be any problems. Back then, it was also because big sister supported me that I went to film. If not, I would also be like big sister right now, being a businesswoman." Qin Yutong said obediently, "I plan to find a better platform to live stream. This way, I will be able to earn money, and then buy a lot of good food and fun things for my little nephew, and bring him to chase after big sisters. Haha, be more serious." Chinya wrinkled her brows. "I cannot let my own child be led astray by my little sister." Chapter 48. Alright, I'll be serious. Qin Yutong was extremely obedient. Chinya thought for a while, then came to a decision. "I will open a company. and you will be broadcasting. Big sister, it can't be. You even want to earn your little sister's money. Qin Yutong immediately knew her big sister's intention. A businesswoman is indeed a businesswoman. Do you eat and drink at my place for free? I also eat my brother-in-law's money. Qin Yutong retorted. Isn't your brother-in-law's money still mine? Yihua liked this sentence a lot. Not bad, not bad. Qin Yutong puffed up her cheeks. This is the behavior of a thief. I won't do it. It's fine if you don't want to do it. Accompany mom and dad, then you can broadcast however you want. Big sister, look at what you are saying. It's the same if other people earn it. I might as well give it to big sister, right? Qin Yutong immediately cowered. Qin Ye said petulantly, the money earned will be split 9-10. Big sister, this isn't good, just split it 50. 50 will do, we are sisters. Qin Ye flicked her hair, Yutong, I'll split 9-10, you split 10. Yihua laughed. I didn't expect that Qin Ye, who was in his embrace, would have such a side. Qin Yutong looked at her big sister dumbfoundedly, and after a long while, she said, I thought that I have a big sister who loves me, and a brother-in-law who loves me, who knew that they colluded with each other and thought of all ways to squeeze out the value of my little sister. What meaning is there left for me to live in this world? I'm leaving, you guys take care of yourselves. Qin Ye pouted her mouth and said, remember to take away the underwear on the balcony. I'm going to buy a packet of spicy gluten to calm myself down, then come back. Qin Yutong waved her hand, then left with her miserable back view. At this time, a sentimental error should be added. Yihua hugged onto his wife and said faintly, 9-10, isn't that too ruthless? You don't know the speed at which she spends money. I'll help her save some money, in case no one marries her in the future. Qin Ye said helplessly. Looking at Qin Ye's tenderness at this moment, Yihua discovered that Qin Ye was truly very beautiful, and his pair of hands unconsciously reached into his pajamas. What are you doing? Qin Ye grabbed onto that sinful big hand and shouted. Yihua came back to his senses. What happened just now? Did I eat the wrong medicine? Touch whether the child has grown up or not. Yihua didn't even know why he did that just now. He actually wanted to conquer her once again. Qin Ye still did not know what this scoundrel was thinking. I don't know who was the one who said at the start, but Yihua will definitely not touch the same woman a second time. Qin Ye said mockingly. This general immediately suppressed Yihua tightly. Yihua, who was extremely gloomy, put down the beauty that was in his embrace and walked to the balcony to smoke. Qin Ye felt great and shouted out, Yihua, as long as you say that you are a big swindler, I will treat it as if you didn't say those words. Yihua silently smoked a stick of cigarette, then turned his head around and said coldly, the words that I, Yihua, have said, not even 10 kun would be able to pull me back. Let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. After Qin Ye finished speaking, she prepared to leave. After teaching my little sister a lesson, I seem to have forgotten to teach my husband a lesson. Forget it, look at how depressed my husband is, I will teach him a lesson next time. With a slight smile on her face, Qin Ye returned to her bedroom. Seems like my charm did not degenerate. After consecutively smoking 2 cigarettes, Yihua finally calmed down. This woman can't be a spy, right? But thinking about it, who would send such a stupid spy? But his state of mind was changing. This kind of anxiety made Yihua a bit irritated. He sent a secret message to Li Gu, how is the matter going? Your Honor, everything is settled. A cyan snow dragon, this type of dragon has extremely high nutritional value, and will be of great help to little Your Honor. A golden delicate crane, which can nourish one's face and make one's madam even more beautiful. There is also a star-cleansing sparrow, which can strengthen madam's physique. I have placed both of them on an uninhabited planet. Yihua was rather satisfied. After sensing Li Gu's location, Yihua immediately disappeared from the office. Just at this moment, Qing Yutong came back from the office after buying spicy gluten. Where did brother-in-law go? I wanted to show off a bit. When Yihua appeared once again, what was in front of him was an expanse of white light. The towering mountain peaks were all frozen into a thick layer of ice, and the corpses of 3 gigantic ancient beasts were lying at the center of the valley. If one were to calculate the surface area, the size of one of the 3 ancient beasts would be enough to occupy 8 soccer fields. The 3 ancient beasts all had one thing in common, and that was, a large piece of their necks were bitten off, and right now, all of the 3 ancient beasts were still bleeding. The blood of the ancient beasts were all golden in color, and the nutritional value was also extremely high. Whoa! Lai Gu's figure appeared on top of the corpses, and seemingly like he was showing off his battle prowess, Lai Gu ran to the corner of Yihua's mouth. You go back first. Yes. Your honor. Before Lai Gu left, he secretly bit a piece of the golden delicate crane's meat, then happily returned to the big celebrity's house. Inside the luxurious villa, 3 beautiful figures were currently playing in the water, causing Lai Gu's saliva to flow out. Chapter 49. Master, the mission is a little complicated. I'm still calculating it. What? Weren't you the one who asked me to come back and be a host? Qing Yutong said snappily. Who in the world would just pat their buttocks and leave just like that? Not giving up on the title of Best Actress, isn't it still this system that's making things difficult for me? Master, there's a change in the mission. What change? Qing Yutong asked curiously. The original main mission has been expanded to a side mission. You can win chicken dinner once with your own ability. Qing Yutong thought that it was some big mission. Don't say 1 chicken, I can even eat 2 chickens. Master, I'm talking about the PUBG game. You can search it online and you'll know. Remember, you have to get the PUBG during the live broadcast. After a long while, you actually want me to be a game streamer, don't you know that I am a girl with bad hands? Master, the system is here to make up for your flaws. Qing Yutong had already heard it a few hundred times. All right, tell me what is the main quest. Main mission, seduce brother-in-law and lose your virginity without your sister knowing. Qing Yutong was completely stupefied. How can there be such a ridiculous mission, system? Are you serious? Yes. It feels so exciting, as long as Master is happy. Happy your sister, you actually told me to go and poach Big Sister's man, see if I don't beat you to death. Qing Yutong said angrily, I have never seen such a shameless system. Master, once you complete this main storyline, you will be able to use anything in the system shop. What? Qing Yutong was scared silly. I have only exchanged for the things in the system 7 to 8 times, and I feel that I am almost invincible, but right now, I can actually use them as I wish, and the condition is to push down brother-in-law. Isn't this too easy? Little darling, don't think that just because you are like this, I will do something that will let down Big Sister. I am a very principled woman. Qing Yutong snorted, and with a righteous and awe-inspiring appearance, she had a look of not lowering her head to evil forces. Master, is your brother-in-law handsome? Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Of course, my big sister's eyes are still very bright. Don't you have any ideas? Little sweetheart, are you questioning my character? Master, do you still have any moral standing? Qing Yutong snorted. Master, sisterly love can be shared. Think about how you could travel around the universe and visit all kinds of countries after you complete the mission. Don't you feel happy? You actually used this kind of thing to tempt me. We have a deep sisterly love. Master, your sister said that she would give you condoms. Have you forgotten? Maybe she can accept it. Are you sure? Qing Yutong's face was filled with disbelief. Of course. Besides, you might not be able to complete the mission. Your brother-in-law is not interested in you. Qin Yutong couldn't stand being goaded the most, and she said in disdain, "Tisk, that is only because I didn't bring out my true strength. Let me tell you, I will be able to push down brother-in-law tonight, just you watch. If big sister gets angry, I will sell you out to be the scapegoat." "Master, as long as you can push me down, you can sell me out." "Good, with your words, I can rest assured. From now on, the operation plan to overthrow brother-in-law has officially started. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law is here. Big sister, prepare the condoms." "Forget it, what the hell do I need condoms for? I want to give birth to a monkey for brother-in-law." The system let out a deep sigh. "I am letting you hug my thigh, there is no other meaning. Compared to the things that can be exchanged in the system, this man is the biggest treasure. Becoming the woman that he approves of will be the greatest glory. As a system, I can also act cool in the system world." "Master, whether or not we can act cool will depend on you. Your big sister is already one step ahead of us, we cannot let go of the position of the second wife. At that time, we will be above billions of people and below only 2 people. Right now, Yihua still didn't know that he had already been stared at by his sister-in-law. He walked into the bedroom and looked at Qinya, who was on the bed. "Why do you sleep on the bed all day long?" "Pregnant woman, can't I sleep a lot?" Qinya said faintly as she looked at the finance channel. Yihua didn't say anything. He sat at the bedside and said, "You are not allowed to go to tomorrow's banquet." "Why?" Qinya asked gravely. Why is this man so overbearing, not allowing this and not allowing that? Yihua said lightly, "There's no reason why, as my woman, not just anyone can be invited to my place." Pfft, Qinya laughed, "You're acting cool after smoking syndrome is acting up again." Yihua didn't say anything and insisted on his own decision. Qinya sighed, "I have already promised others, if I don't go, I will offend the Dragon God Corporation. I just want you to learn how to reject those people. If you offend them, then so be it. In this world, there is no one that I, Yihua, cannot offend." Yihua said in disdain. His goal was to let Qinya learn a principle. As long as you are my woman, you will be invincible. If others come to invite you, it is already giving you a lot of face, because at least you still have the chance to invite them, while some people don't even have this chance. Qinya suddenly became very serious. She stretched out her hand and touched Yihua's forehead, then touched her own forehead. "I don't have a fever, let's go out for a walk tomorrow." Yihua slapped away Qinya's hand and said coldly, "If this woman was slightly more obedient, I wouldn't be so tired." "Humph, don't. It's not up to you to not want." Yihua said. "You. Do I still have human rights? I am protesting against your dictatorship. There is no need to discuss this matter anymore, I have already decided. Do you dare to run and let me see?" "I will run and let you see." After speaking, Qinya wore her slippers. Just that, she was only wearing one slipper when she was carried by Yihua. "You bastard, let go of me, let go of me, if I don't go, let's go and starve." Qinya slapped onto Yihua's arm. "If I offend the Dragon God Corporation, my plan to go north would be ruined. Furthermore, if the Dragon God Corporation were to speak, a lot of suppliers would have to say goodbye to me. This interlocking reaction would make Qingqing International go bankrupt." Yihua didn't use much strength and said lightly, "Don't move, be careful of the child. Just how unlucky am I to have a husband like you? Do you know what the consequence of me not going tomorrow is? Our family of 3 will have to go begging for food. I will support you." Qinya's heart trembled fiercely as she stared fixedly at Yihua with her beautiful eyes. She suddenly felt that the current Yihua was really handsome. Why am I being infatuated? I have to quickly slap myself to wake up. Save your bar first, then talk. Qinya became a lot calmer, and her body was even slightly leaning into Yihua's embrace. "Qingye!" Yihua suddenly called out. "And follow me, and you don't have to fear anyone." Not knowing why, Qingye felt that what Yihua said was the truth, but she just couldn't stand seeing this fellow putting on a stern face. He is obviously hugging onto a super beauty, yet he still seems to be disgusted by her. "What was your first woman like?" After a long while, Qingye suddenly asked. Even she herself didn't know why she asked this question. Yihua said faintly, "It has been many years, I don't remember." Chapter 50. TSK, you still don't remember. You're probably reminiscing about it. When Qingye said these words, she was completely unaware of how sour her tone was. Why doesn't this bastard know how to tactfully lie to me? Yihua said faintly, on the other hand, the aftertaste is quite deep for you. Scram, Qingye felt that Yihua would be able to talk about this matter for the rest of his life. If I had known earlier, I would have obediently returned home and slept that night. Of all people, I just had to come to this leisure bar to offer my body. As expected, I am very stupid. What Yihua said is absolutely right. As a supreme being, it had been a long time since he had heard these two touching phrases. If it wasn't for his woman, he would have been sent flying long ago. If one were to carefully listen to Qingye's tone, one would be able to tell that Qingye was just acting coquettishly. However, it was a pity that the honest and straightforward Yihua was unable to tell. "Yihua, where are your parents?" After a long while, Qingye asked. "In any case, he has seen my family, so I should also meet him." "No." After hearing that, Qingye went into a daze. Soon after, she apologized, "I'm sorry." Yihua remained silent, and Qingye also remained silent. The atmosphere became strange once again. Looking at Qingye's pair of slim and small hands, Yihua wrinkled his brows. "As the woman of my supreme overlord, how can my hands be empty? If news of this were to spread out, where would I put my face?" However, Yihua felt that the things that I, the supreme overlord, gave to my woman would definitely be unique and of a high grade. Suddenly, Yihua recalled the movie that he watched last night. That kind of combination of gems is a bit interesting. Opening up the gem chest inside the space ring, Yihua found the space stone, time stone, soul stone, reality stone, power stone, and spirit stone. Inside the space ring, 6 infinity gems could be seen floating in the darkness, emitting resplendent lights that immediately lit up the entire space ring. Inside the space ring, various kinds of items could be seen, and any one of them would be able to make anyone go crazy. Wei Chang had a hobby of collecting, and this was all because he learned from Yihua. Like leader, like subordinate. The 6 infinity gems gradually moved closer to each other. If someone were to see this scene, they would definitely collapse in fear. These gems could be embedded, but they could not be fused. After all, every type of gemstone had a representative power. Who knew what would happen if the fusion failed? Yihua, ignorant humans, you will never know just how powerful the Supreme Overlord is. In that moment, the space ring shone with a powerful light, causing the entire space ring to shake. However, this violent energy was quickly suppressed by another energy, gradually calming down. It was like a tamed puppy. The 6 infinity gems had disappeared, leaving behind only one gem. It was so beautiful that it was suffocating. It had the power to destroy heaven and earth, and this huge contrast made people's hearts go cold. Yihua wrinkled his brows. The bracelet is too big. If I were to wear this bracelet on my hand, using the words of humans, it would be vulgar. Along with Yihua's clenching of his palm, the entire gemstone instantly shrunk. The size of the gemstone was neither too big nor too small, just that, after the gemstone shrunk, it had a different kind of beauty to it. Yihua looked towards the weapon rack at the side, and a spear immediately flew out from the weapon rack. If I remember correctly, this should be an overlord's weapon. This spear's name was Three Realms Crystal Spear, and Yihua was still unclear about the material of the spear. Back then, when I killed this overlord, I also paid a price. If it wasn't for this spear, I wouldn't have gotten injured. However, it doesn't matter right now, this spear can only be used as a ring. A powerful pressure suddenly burst out from the body of the spear, and the originally pitch-black sound of the spear became silvery white, and even became transparent. It seemed to be resisting Yihua's power. In actuality, weapons that have reached this level all have their own consciousness. It's just that this spear underestimated Yihua's power, thinking that Yihua was only an overlord back then. The sound of the spear was trembling, as if it was carrying unwillingness and deep fear. Under Yihua's control, the spear's body gradually became thinner, and soon after, it turned into a circle. At the opening of the spear, 6 silver thorns extended out, looking like a dragon claw. The infinity stone in the air slowly fell into the ring, and an infinity ring was successfully born. Taking into consideration the powerful energy of the ring, Yihua placed a seal on it. With Qingya's identity as a human, she was unable to activate the power of the ring, and it was just a unique ring. After all, Yihua didn't know what would happen if he were to wear this ring and snap his fingers. What if the movie was real? The infinity stone that fused together would probably be even more overpowered. I really don't know if Yihua is giving a present or a time bomb. Qingya. Wear this ring. Yihua took out the infinity ring, and Qingya was instantly captivated by the ring on Yihua's hand. Women, after all of them like glittering diamonds, and this diamond's color is something that even Qingya has never seen before. Although it isn't big, it is stunning. What is this fellow trying to do by fawning on me for no reason? However, it is really beautiful. Where did you buy it from? How much did you spend? Although Qingya questioned Yihua with her mouth, she was still very happy in her heart, and there was even a blush on her face. Yihua said faintly, "Street stall goods, not worth much." Qingya also felt that Yihua was right. This kind of strange ring is definitely not a pure diamond, it should be artificially made. Qingya's guess was right, the ring was indeed artificially made. Are you going to propose to me? You are thinking too much, I just saw that your hand is empty. The favorable impression that Qingya just had was instantly extinguished, and she snorted and turned her head away. Yihua wouldn't let Qingya fool around like this, and he picked up the ring and put it on. Wrong. Wear it on your left hand. Qingya snorted and reminded. Yihua let out a breath and took off the ring. What are you wearing it on my thumb for? It isn't my index finger either. You actually wore it on my pinky. Yihua said gravely, enough. Isn't it just a ring? It doesn't matter which one I wear. Qingya, who was flustered and exasperated, snatched the ring over and wore it on her ring finger. It sure is beautiful, I'm so happy. Wrong. Why do I have to be happy? This fellow took my card, and still wants to buy street stall goods. However, it is good that he has this kind of intention. Looking at the ring on Yihua's index finger, Qingya pouted her mouth. You should also learn to wear that ring like mine. You are no longer a single noble now, you have a family now. Women are so troublesome. Yihua said gravely, but he still changed the ring over. Humph, troublesome, why did you give me a ring? Qingya stretched out her hand. No matter how I look at it, it is beautiful, Yihua sure is considerate. Yihua pursed his lips and said faintly, because you are pitiful. TSK, I think that you are more or less pitiful. If it wasn't for me, you would be prepared to be single for your entire life. Would I, Yihua, lack women? Can you not act cool? You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.